Good Friday morning, everyone, and welcome into today's daily Bible reading for May the 10th. Today we are reading together the 57th Psalm. Psalm 57 has been given the title by the translators of my Bible, Praise for God's Protection. We are told in the superscription that it is for the choir director, do not destroy, a miktam of David when he fled before Saul into the cave. So this superscription shares something that we saw in yesterday or in Wednesday's superscription. Actually, I take that back. It does share one thing. It is another miktam of David, and it does give us a historical uh, context to the psalm itself. But it has something that's going to begin a series of three, I believe, psalms. Yes, three psalms that are going to all have the title in it, quote, "Do not destroy." Many people believe that is a musical tune from a song that was known at the time, that you would sing it to that particular tune. Some others think there might be some historical context behind this particular aspect of the superscription, in the fact that some of these historical contexts do have the idea of not destroying something or another. So maybe that's the idea here as well. The historical context can be found either in 1 Samuel 22 or 1 Samuel 24, depending on which of the instances in which David interacted with Saul or ran from Saul in a cave you want to apply it to. Some would probably argue more strongly for 1 Samuel 24 because there are some literary connections there and some connections from various ideas in the Psalms there as well. But one of the two, either Psalm 22 or Psalm 24, where David is fleeing from Saul and the cave is involved, that is the historical context of the psalm here in Psalm 57. Let me get that on the screen for you, and we'll read along together here. The 57th Psalm, Psalm 57, praise for God's protection. And within this psalm, I think there's a couple of different categories in which this psalm could fall into. One of those, given the title supplied by the translators in my Bible, praise would be one of the categories. And because of another couple of lines within this psalm, confidence would be another category in which this psalm would fall to as well. So praise, confidence, a little bit of both, I think, would be the two categories that this psalm would fall into. So let's read about that here in Psalm 57, beginning verse number 1. Be gracious to me, God, be gracious to me, for I take refuge in you. I will seek refuge in the shadow of your wings until danger passes. I call to God Most High, to God who fulfills his purpose for me. He reaches down from heaven and saves me, challenging the one who tramples me. Selah. God sends his faithful love and truth. I am surrounded by lions. I lie down among devouring lions, people whose teeth are spears and arrows, whose tongues are sharp swords. God, be exalted above the heavens. Let your glory be over the whole earth. They prepared a net for my steps. I was despondent. They dug a pit ahead of me, but they fell into it. Selah. My heart is confident, God. My heart is confident. I will sing praises. Wake up, my soul. Wake up, harp and lyre. I will wake up the dawn. I will praise you, Lord, among the peoples. I will sing praises to you among the nations. For your faithful love is as high as the heavens. Your faithfulness reaches the clouds. God be exalted above the heavens. Let your glory be over the whole earth. Psalm number 57. Again, praise and confidence, I think, are the main themes of this psalm, and they come in a historical context where David is on the run. And you might be wondering, well, there might be laments within this particular chapter in his life. And while it was going on, yeah, there probably was a great deal of lament and sadness from the perspective of David for everything that he was facing. However, it seems as if this is probably looking back on the situation, and David is able then to look at it not out of despondency, as he's going to mention. And I think that despondency was, again, in the moments while he was going through this ordeal of running away from Saul, someone who he had dedicated himself to, someone that he loved, someone that he respected, that as he's running away from Saul and as he's surrounded by, as we're going to see the description, lions who are ready to devour him, yeah, he was despondent. He was out of ideas and options. He did seem to be pretty hopeless. But looking back on the situation, he sees that God was there to not only preserve him, but to turn that despondency into praise and into confidence. Let's notice this here in Psalm 57. Be gracious to me is similar to what we saw in Psalm 56, where the same opening was found, which is also the same opening that was found in Psalm 51. Again, this graciousness is, or this request for graciousness is similar to Psalm 56, whereas Psalm 56 was dissimilar to Psalm 51, just in the context of what was going on. In Psalm 51, it was sin on David's part that he requested grace for. Here in Psalm 57 and also in Psalm 56, it is that David is being pursued, that he has enemies who are trying to destroy him. So be gracious to me, God, be gracious to me, for I take refuge in you. God being a refuge on its face is a sign of his graciousness toward the king. But notice, for I take refuge in you, not the cave. Remember, David had been in the cave, but he knew his true refuge was not in a cave, but was in God. I will seek refuge in the shadow of your wings. The imagery here is a hen or some kind of bird with her chicks, as she covers the chicks with her wing to protect them from the elements or from a predator of some sort. But there's also, again, I mentioned the connections between this psalm and 1 Samuel 24. There is some underlying language here that could also be used for the corners of Saul's robe that he cut off. What does a robe do? Again, a robe covers. So just as the wings cover here, we have that connection, which would lead some people to think that this is specifically about Psalm 24 in that specific instance where David encountered Saul in a cave. But he says, I will seek refuge in you until danger passes. I call to God Most High. And this is a theme we're going to see here throughout the rest of the psalm, God being most high, God being exalted, God being revered, God being shown as greater than anything else. I call to God Most High, to God who fulfills his purpose for me. God who fulfills his purpose for me. God is going to turn the despondency that David is feeling in the situation, he's going to turn it into confident praise. He fulfills his purpose in me. He's going to change who I am, or at least the way I am feeling in this situation, by who he is and what he does. For he reaches down from heaven and saves me. That's how he turns this despondency into confident praise. He reaches down from heaven, most high, and saves me, challenging the one who tramples me. So not only do we see the side of the coin where there's a blessing on the oppressed, but again, if you're going to bless the oppressed, that's going to come at the cost of the oppressor. So that's what we see here. The one who is calling out to God for mercy, David, is blessed, and that causes the ones who are against him to be judged and punished in some sort of way. God sends his faithful love and truth. Here is the confidence that David has in God's faithfulness to him, something that's going to show up again in verse 10. So I'll hold off on that for a second, but just note on the front end of the situation itself, because we haven't even gotten into the situation yet. We haven't even gotten into whatever it is that David is facing. But on the front end, God sends his faithful love and truth. All right, so that's on the front end. Just go ahead and skip to the back end real fast. Verse number 10. For your faithful love is as high as the heavens. Again, most high. Your faithfulness reaches the clouds. Again, most high. So this section of the trouble, and then David's response to the trouble once God delivers him, they are bookended by God's faithfulness, by his truth, by his faithful love. So verse 4, I am surrounded by lions. I lie down among devouring lions, those people whose teeth are spears and arrows, whose tongues are sharp swords. This is the formidable enemy that David is facing. This is a legitimate challenge to his well-being. This is not, there's a pest or there's a little bit of trouble. No, this is a serious situation that David is in. They are devouring lions. But as he shares that, here's the refrain. The refrain found here in verse 5 and also in verse number 11. God be exalted above the heavens here, the most high language once again. Let your glory be over the whole earth. The glory there, the Hebrew word kavod, comes the idea of weightiness, the glory, the weight, the significance of Yahweh be over the whole earth. So the idea here for me then is, though David has just spoken about the formidable nature of his enemies, he now draws his attention away from their the real danger that they present to him, and he puts it on what is greater and what is weightier than that, which is Yahweh. So Yahweh be exalted above the heavens. Again, this most high language. Let your kavod, let your glory be over the whole earth. You are weightier than even my enemies. Yes, they prepared a net for my steps, and I was despondent. Again, this is real distress. This is him out of options. This is him out of ideas. This is David in hopelessness. They dug a pit ahead of me. They've dug my grave already. But then out of nowhere, they fell into it. Selah. Again, that word Selah, nobody knows exactly what's going on with that word, but some people think that it is a placeholder for a pause, for the reader or the singer to meditate and to think upon what has just been sung or what has just been read. So let's think about that then. Formidable enemies, but God is formidable as well, even more so. The enemies prepared my grave, and then boom, out of nowhere, they fell into it. I wonder who caused that to happen. Certainly, the implication here is that God did it. God, who is to be exalted above the heavens, whose glory is to be over the entire earth because he is greater, he is weightier, he is more significant. He is the one who caused them to fall into the pit, into the grave that they dug for me. So what's David's response then? Well, not only is his response certainly relief. I mean, I'd be pretty stoked if my enemy has suddenly been defanged and made no longer a danger to me. But it's not just relief, it's also praise. So my heart is confident. God, my heart is confident. I will sing praises. Wake up, my soul. Wake up, harp and lyre. I will wake the dawn. I will praise you, Lord, among the peoples. I will sing praises to you among the nations. It's not just relief that David is feeling, but it is grateful praise that he feels that he must express now to Yahweh for delivering him. Such strong praise that it would even wake up the dawn. Such strong praise that even the nations and other peoples would hear about it. This is the extent of David's praise. But again, what's it based upon? It's based upon Yahweh's faithful love, his hesed. It is, again, as high as the heavens, this most high language. Your faithfulness reaches the clouds, again, most high. God be exalted above the heavens. Let your glory be over the whole earth. Let's see, just within the last two verses, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 to 4, references to most high, references to why God is not just worthy of praise, but why he is worthy of confidence. David in the situation, once again, we might read the situation, and certainly we read it from the historical account in 1 Samuel 22 and 1 Samuel 24. And it seems very much so like David is just straight running away from Saul. And that very, very well is the case. I mean, he is running from Saul. But let me suggest to you what this psalm also gives us the idea of, and what we should take away, is that he's not just running away from Saul, but he's running to God. He's running to God. People in life deal with all sorts of trials and difficulties and enemies that take all different shapes and forms. But so many people are just running away from something. They're just running away from that which is after them to hurt them and to destroy them. But they're not running to anything that can actually save. Not running to anything that can actually give them confidence. They're not running to anything that is actually praiseworthy. Friends, what this psalm tells us is that the Most High God, He is praiseworthy, and He has strength to save. That should cause us to not just run from that which we're trying to get away from, but run to Him. Run to Him so as to be saved. What a wonderful psalm this is. Psalm 57 fills us with great confidence. It should, at least. And hopefully that confidence will lead us to praise God for His hesed, for His faithful love, for His faithfulness seen within our own lives. I appreciate you taking some time to read along with me on this Friday. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave that in the comment section below. It seems that everybody's doing fine from the storms over the past couple of days. From those I've been able to talk to and communicate with, we're thankful for that. I continue to be praying for those who have been affected in other places. Unfortunately, there's loss of life with these series of storms that have come through in the past few days. Our hearts are broken for those who have been affected in that way. Let's be praying for them. And maybe there might be opportunity for us to help them in some other ways as well. But let's certainly keep our eyes open for that. Looking forward to being with everybody on Sunday. And of course, we will be back to reading again on Monday. We'll be reading from Psalm 58, A Cry Against Injustice. Psalm 58. Looking forward to reading that with you then. Hope to see you then. Take care and God bless.